Welcome to Encadria Staffing Solutions and the Employee Safety Orientation. As an employee of Encadria Staffing Solutions, you may be assigned to work in an industrial manufacturing operation. It will not be unusual for you to come into close contact with large machinery, fast-moving equipment, hazardous chemicals, and other potentially dangerous situations. Your understanding of the safety factors involved in doing your job can greatly reduce those risks and make the facilities you work in a safer place. Careless acts, dangerous work habits, a bad safety attitude, and disregard for the safety rules of any facility will not be tolerated. Those are the circumstances that could lead to injury or even death and should not be tolerated by you. Each individual must follow the established work rules and procedures at each and every assignment. You are ultimately responsible for your own safety. No job should be performed in a manner that will jeopardize an employee's safety or welfare. We believe that accidents do not just happen. They are the result of either behavior and/or conditions. Conditions can be observed and behaviors put in place or eliminated to avoid injury. If you observe an unsafe condition or behavior, speak out and contact your Encadria Staffing Solutions supervisor immediately. We will cover important safety factors in the next few slides. Good housekeeping is one of those and an important factor in accident prevention. A clean and orderly place to work is also a safe place to work. Good housekeeping is accomplished many ways. Return tools to their proper places. Keep locker rooms clean. Leave no spilled oil, grease, or other slipping or tripping hazard on the floor. Stack materials, boxes, and rolls as neatly as possible. Clean wash basins and fixtures after you use them. Follow the blowdown schedule within your department. Know the location of all emergency fire protection equipment and nearest phone in your department or work area. Remember that safety is our #1 concern at Encadria Staffing Solutions. If you're asked to complete a task that you feel is unsafe or have not been given proper safety instruction, please contact an Encadria Staffing Solutions supervisor immediately. For your safety and the safety of others, report all injuries at once, no matter how small, to your assignment supervisor and your Encadria Staffing Solutions supervisor. Hot weather can be a factor in maintaining your personal health. Employees should do the following to help prevent dehydration and heat exhaustion. Dress appropriately for hot weather, following dress code guidelines. Do not skip meals during working hours. Drink adequate amounts of water. Personal protective equipment, or PPE, is used to reduce an employee's risk of being exposed to hazards when engineering and administrative controls are not available. Ask your Encadria Staffing Solutions supervisor what PPE is required when working at a specific facility. The following PPE is required while performing the tasks listed below. Head protection. Head protection provides impact protection from fixed and falling objects and electrical shocks and burns. Eye protection. It is estimated that 2,500 eye injuries occur in the workplace every workday. Wearing safety glasses or goggles protects the eyes from flying particles, liquid chemicals, acids and caustic liquids, gases and vapors, light radiation, such as welding. Face shields are available to fit over a hard hat or to wear directly on the head. Face shields are designed for face protection only and must be worn with safety glasses or goggles. Full face protection is often required to guard against chemical splashes, sparks, debris from grinding, splashes of molten metal. Respirators must be worn in work areas where employee exposures exceed or may exceed airborne exposure limits specified by OSHA or other regulatory agencies. Each facility has a separate respiratory protection program that contains all the required elements if respirators are used. Hand protection is used to protect hands when handling sharp objects or hot and/or extremely cold materials. Some hand injury facts that may be surprising to you. About 500,000 work-related injuries occur to hands, fingers, and arms each year. Nearly 25% of all work-related injuries are to the fingers and hands. Injuries to fingers and thumbs are second on the list of most injured parts of the body. Protective footwear is required in all areas where there is the potential for exposures to falling and rolling objects, soles being pierced, electrical shocks, corrosive chemicals, hot metals, or immersion in water or other liquids. Protective clothing provides exposure protection to chemical liquids, dust, toxic metals such as lead, etc., toxic particulates such as asbestos, etc., gases and vapors, extreme hot and cold environments. Loosely fitting clothes shall not be worn while working around moving machinery. Pants with bulky legs shall not be worn as they create a tripping hazard. No necklaces or other jewelry allowed. The purpose of Lockout Tagout is to prevent the unexpected energization, startup, or release of stored energy in order to prevent injury to employees. Your lock and safety tag is your insurance against anyone starting or energizing equipment on which you are working. Lockout. Lockout procedures will consist of the following key elements. Survey the equipment, machine, or system to locate and identify all energy-isolating devices. Notify all affected personnel that a lockout procedure will be utilized. If the equipment is operating, shut it down following normal stopping procedure. Position the energy isolation device so that equipment is isolated from its energy source or sources. Stored energy such as springs, electrical capacitance, batteries, suspended weight, compressed air or gas, and casting equipment must be released or restrained by methods such as repositioning, blocking, bleeding down, etc. Lock out the energy isolating device with assigned individual locks. Locks must include the individual's name and department. Each lockout lock must have a tag stating "Danger, do not operate" or "Danger, do not start." Each individual working on or near equipment which, if inadvertently operated, could cause injury, must lock out. Once locks have been placed on equipment, the area around the equipment must be cleared before verifying that the machine is in a zero-energy state. Clearing the area means removing from the operating path all personnel, tools, or other items that could interfere with the equipment if startup occurred. Verify the equipment to ensure the equipment is in a safe shutdown condition. Trying to move switches to the energized position, pushing start buttons, or using voltmeters may accomplish this. After service or maintenance has been completed, check the area around the machine or equipment to ensure that no one is exposed to injury. Remove lockout devices once all tools, employees, and guards are clear from the machine or equipment. Important note: never remove someone else's lock or tag. Restore energy to the machine or equipment. Alternative protective measures may be used in lieu of lockout for tasks that are routine, repetitive, and integral to production when clearing minor jams and for routine quality checks. Your job may entail handling or coming in contact with hazardous chemicals. The Hazard Communication Program has been developed to ensure you're well protected from exposure to chemicals. The program consists of OSHA Hazard Communication Standard. All departments maintain a list of hazardous chemicals used in their departments. Hazard Assessment. This is the method used to identify and evaluate the hazards associated with substances used in the facility. List of hazardous chemicals. You will receive a master list of hazardous chemicals or materials. Material Safety Data Sheets, or MSDS. Material safety data sheets are informational sheets that contain valuable information about a chemical's physical properties, odor characteristics, exposure limits, and effects of overexposure, spill procedures, disposal information, and much more. The MSDS is used to determine the appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, and to determine the first aid and immediate precautions to be taken if contact is made with the chemical. MSDS sheets identify the health hazards, flammability, reactivity, and protective equipment requirements of the chemicals. Container labeling and hazard warnings. Become familiar with container labels and warning signs within your department. If a chemical is not labeled, contact your assignment supervisor. You may be asked to label a chemical. If you're not sure what information the label should contain or are unsure of the hazards, let your supervisor know. Training. Training is one of the methods used to inform employees of the HAZCOM program, as well as the hazards of non-routine tasks. Employees may not work with chemicals that have a hazard of greater than a 2 without additional specialized training. Employees must have received training on all chemicals that they're exposed to. A confined space is a space that is large enough and so configured that an employee can enter or perform work, but has limited or restricted means for entry or exit, and is not designed for continuous employee occupancy. It is imperative that you follow the confined space entry procedure before entering any confined space. No employee shall enter any confined space without specific training. Fall protection systems shall be used when employees are exposed to a fall of greater than 4 feet. This type of work requires additional training. Each facility has an emergency action plan based on the specifications of their location. Each employee should become familiar with the Facility Emergency Action Plan and Procedure, orientation to the alarm signals, designated evacuation routes, how to initiate emergency response procedures, types of emergencies, potential hazards, and location of high potential areas on the site, fire, medical, weather, chemical spill, etc. Duties and responsibilities of the individual during anticipated emergency conditions, location of muster points following an evacuation. When beginning an assignment, ask or confirm with your assignment supervisor emergency phone numbers or extensions that may be needed. In the event of an emergency, proceed to the nearest phone and call the directed department with notification of emergency. Give the person who answers the phone all needed information. This may include items such as your name, building number, floor, and type of emergency. Employees with job-related exposure to high noise levels and/or exposed to noise levels at or above 85 decibels are required to wear hearing protectors. When properly used, hearing protectors can lower your noise exposure below 85 decibels, where it will not cause hearing loss. Annual audiometric testing is required for all employees whose job may expose them to noise levels at or above 85 decibels. Types of hearing protection: insert plugs, earmuffs. If assigned to a client with heavy pedestrian traffic as well as lift truck traffic, it is important to understand and observe certain ground rules related to pedestrian safety. Each of us uses and follows safety rules in our own automobiles to prevent accidents. These same principles can be applied in the workplace to prevent slips, trips, corridor collisions, and other accidents. Walk to the right of the aisles and hallways unless noted to do otherwise. Always look to the right and to the left before stepping into a passageway. Look out for obstacles such as wires, cords, and ropes in walkways. Be aware of water, oil, and antifreeze on floors that may cause you or someone else to fall. When you spot a potential hazard, eliminate it at once. If you cannot eliminate it, report it to your assignment supervisor. Keep large items that could obstruct your view away from your face when walking. Stay out of traffic when you stop to talk. Don't stand in front of a closed door. Always keep your eyes on the road. Never try to walk and read at the same time. Follow and obey all safety traffic signs. Never walk through an overhead door. Use overhead mirrors to observe oncoming forklift traffic. Do not operate equipment for which you have not been trained. Upon leaving your machine, make sure that you turn off the machine and leave it in safe condition. If any job seems unsafe to you, do not do it. Discuss the situation with your assignment supervisor or call your Encadria Staffing Solutions supervisor. Always keep guards on your machines. If you remove a guard for any reason, lockout, tagout procedures apply. Always inspect your work area prior to beginning work and after maintenance activities. Make sure that all guards are in place and your work area is clean, orderly, and clear of hazards. When hoisting materials, always make sure that the load does not exceed the capacity of the hoisting equipment. Never stand or pass under a suspended load. Inspect all portable power tools before use. Never cross over a conveyor unless you're using a designated conveyor crossover. Obey all posted signs and traffic signals and use the designated crosswalks both in and outside of the facility. Red danger or yellow caution tape will be used periodically throughout the facility to warn employees of potential hazards. Red danger tape is designed to keep people out of a hazardous area, and yellow caution tape is designed to promote awareness about a hazard in an area. You are not permitted to enter an area that has been taped off with red danger tape. The supervisor responsible for the tape is the only person that may grant permission to enter. All employees are required to attend monthly safety meetings if applicable. If you're on vacation or otherwise unavailable to attend the scheduled safety meeting, you must attend a makeup session. Report all unsafe work conditions to your assignment supervisor, safety committee representative, or Encadria Staffing Solutions supervisor. Again, safety is our number one concern. Your safety and the safety of others is extremely important. Do not operate machinery or equipment without being fully trained. And if someone asks you to do something you feel is unsafe, call your Encadria Staffing Solutions supervisor immediately. Keep this information to refer back to and continue to work safe.